Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Have you guys wondered if these translucent powders are actually translucent, especially on a person of color? Well, let's find out. I'm going to test 5 different translucent powders ranging from budget buys all the way to high-end. So the powders that we're testing are Ben Nye Neutral Set powder, RCMA No Color powder, Viseart setting powder, MAC Invisible setting powder, and the cult favorite Mercier translucent setting powder. By the way, if you are curious about the makeup, I have filmed a tutorial, so it should be up hopefully before this video, and if the link is active, I am going to put it right here so you can check it out. So if my skin looks a little bit oily, it's because I have put on foundation and concealer, but I haven't set my face with powder because we are going to do this test today. The brush I'm going to be using is my Wayne Goss brush number 2, and between the powders I'm going to run the brush through the color switch. So hopefully there shouldn't be any cross contamination between the powders. I've already set under my eyes with the Viseart translucent powder. So I think that's the powder that I'm going to start with first and apply it to my cheek area. And on the other side, I'm going to use the MAC setting powder. So the Viseart powder is extremely finely milled. I'm not going to bake with these powders, but I am applying a generous amount. I'm just packing it into the skin. Also going to run the same powder on this half of my nose. So I've left the chin for another powder, but this is what this looks like. On camera, it seems to look more white than it is in person. So it's definitely mattified my skin, as you can see. Now keep in mind that I have not added any bronzer, blush or anything, so it may look a little stark. So now just cleaning off the brush on the color switch. Next we're going to use the MAC Invisible setting powder. This powder, when it comes out, is more granular. So as you can see where the granules break up, there's more powder in certain areas versus the others. So always swirl it back on the cap to get an even distribution. So that's that now. I'm going to apply it on this half of my face. That's Viseart versus the MAC. Not going to say this on camera every single time, but between the powders I am cleaning my brush off on the color switch. Next we're going to use one of the most popular powders, which is the Mercier translucent. Now I have to say that amongst all these powders, this is the one which has like a beige kind of an undertone. All the others are kind of white, except for the MAC one, which also has some form of tint to it, but it's mostly white, I would say. This is what the Mercier powder looks like on the brush. I'm going to use this on my chin. It is a small area. Okay, just like my cheeks, on my forehead, one half will get the Ben Nye powder, the other half is going to get the RCMA powder. Starting with the Ben Nye. Again, this is a very finely milled powder. This is what that looks like. I feel like I'm impressed with that powder the most. It doesn't look as white or ashy as the other powders on my face. I would say this powder, the Viseart powder, would come second. It's not as white as the MAC setting powder, nor as white as the Mercier one, I feel. Let's put the last powder to test, which is the RCMA No Color powder. Another finely milled powder. Let's have a closer look. I'm just going to turn down the brightness a little bit because it's looking too bright as I'm coming close to the camera. I think I have a clear favorite, which would be this side. So this is where we had the Ben Nye Neutral Set powder, but this is just on initial application. I am going to dust off the excess powder from my face with a soft brush, but apart from that, I think the Viseart one looks quite nice on camera. It doesn't look as ashy as the MAC one, nor does it look as ashy as the Mercier one. I do like the RCMA powder too. So Ben Nye, RCMA, and the Viseart ones are so far winning compared to the other ones. So I'm going to finish up the rest of my makeup. So apply some bronzer, blush, and apply some setting spray, and then check which of these looks truly translucent. So this is what the face looks like after adding some color, but I haven't used a setting spray yet. So we have Ben Nye, Viseart, and Laura Mercier powder. Here we have RCMA and MAC powder. Which one do you guys think looks best at this stage? I still have a preference for the ones on my forehead. The Ben Nye and the RCMA ones are kind of winning for me at this stage. So time for setting spray. I'm going to be using the Urban Decay D-Slick. Going to let this air dry. Now that the setting spray has evaporated and I've had a closer look at the powders, definitely the powders on the forehead are the most translucent. Now between the two, I would say if you have dry skin, you might like the RCMA one a slightly bit better because it looks slightly more, I wouldn't say hydrating, but less dry. Not that the Ben Nye is dry, but I can't explain it. I feel like the Ben Nye might accentuate texture if you have dry skin, so RCMA would win over the Ben Nye for that. So between the other three powders, I do think that the Viseart powder looks the most natural and the least ashy compared to these two, so the MAC and the Laura Mercier powder. Especially after using the setting spray, I feel like it's definitely blended in more with my skin. You can see that it kind of matches, especially in this cheek area. And if I turn my face, hopefully you can see that it's more cohesive compared to this side, which looks ashy, and also right here. So the winners for me are these two powders. I would lean more towards the RCMA if you have a drier skin type, and more towards the Ben Nye Neutral Set powder if you have more of a combination to oily skin. Amongst the high-end powders I tested, the Viseart one was the best, and I feel like this would suit a drier skin type as well compared to the other two powders that we tested, the MAC and the Laura Mercier. So that's it for this video. I hope this was helpful to you guys. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me.